5 o'clock. So we will call to order the August 14th West Fargo Public Library Board meeting. We are looking first, I'll do attendance first. Robin.
Here.
Tony.
Here.
Tyler.
Here.
Sarah.
Here.
And I am here. Welcome. We will next look to have a motion for the approval of the order of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion, the order of the agenda passes. I didn't get any notice, but there's no public comment?
No, none were signed up.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll look at approving the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes from July and the approval of financial reports. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Consent agenda passes. On the regular agenda, we do not have any old business, so we will move right into our new business. And Jenna, are you going to give us an update on the preliminary budget?
Yes, so on Monday, August 4th, the West Fargo City Commission approved the preliminary budget. A statement was submitted to Cass County, and a public budget hearing date was set for Monday, September 8th. So what's left in the city budget timeline for this year is that Monday, September 8th, public budget hearing. And then the next commission meeting after that will be Monday, September 22nd. That'll be a review of the final budget. It's possible that the commission could approve the final budget at that meeting if it's ready. Otherwise, Monday, October 6th, it will be another look at the final budget, and they could approve it at that meeting if needed. October 10th is the deadline to submit the final budget to the Cass County Auditor. So coming up on those deadlines there. For us at the library, where we're at, I feel really good about how our budget came together this year. As compared to the previous two in particular that I've been at the library. A lot of that is just the learning, refining, and collaborating that's gone on with City Hall, and the tremendous work of Alicia, our office manager, and the other library service managers in their note-taking, record-keeping, and just really fine-tuning all of those numbers in our library budget. So I feel like we're in a pretty good place. There's a little bit of shifting that I think we'll do as we move towards our final budget. So I will be bringing a final budget to present to you soon at one of our next, probably our next meeting.
Okay. Are there any questions for Jenna? Okay, I don't think any questions. It's not an actionable item, so we'll move on to the discussion on new format for financials.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up some of the documents that we had attached in this board packet. So it's been a long-standing practice for the library board in our financial reports that we present to include a budget detail report. This budget detail report lists for our fund, so that 7,000 fund, each expense coming out of the lines, for example, paper clips coming from 410 office supplies. So it's going to give you all of the bills that we've paid coming out of every line. And then if you go to the bottom, then it will total everything up. There's going to be a lot that just says books. Yeah. So then down at the bottom, it'll give you the totals, right? We've been giving you the 2 previous months of these budget detail reports at each meeting. The next in the set of the reports that we have been giving traditionally to you is our budget detail report. These budget detail reports are long, so this accounts for a lot of the pages that you're seeing in the financials that come to you. Our income statement is the next piece that comes to you. The income statement is showing a couple lines of our revenue on top, and then it's, again, listing out those same expenses, but instead of detailing every single one, it's totaling it up by the line. And we're just giving you 1 month, the previous month that just finished. And then there's another section of other revenue. And the other revenue in there is showing donations. If the Friends gave us a chunk of money for like purchasing some shelving, that's going to be under sponsorships in here. And some other things. Willie might be able to answer some more details on what some of those things are. So it's a lot of information. But while it is a lot of information, I wasn't completely satisfied that what we're presenting to you in this ream of paper every month is really super beneficial to you in understanding our actual financial position. So when I learned that the city was taking a look at how they were presenting financial reports to the commission, I reached out to our finance director to see if there was a way that we could work together on changing how we're presenting the financial information about the library to the library board as well. So included in the consent agenda this month is a draft labeled new version. Presenting basically the same information. It's more concise, but hopefully presented in a way to give you a better picture of what's actually happening. And Willie is here as well to help answer some questions about what this means, comparing the two. And then, like I said, this is a draft. So board, if you have any feedback on what you would like to see, please ask those questions. Let's have some discussion. And kind of what we're looking for here is some consensus on how you would like to see the financial information presented to you in the packet each month. I don't think a motion is necessary, just what's most helpful to you to give us some direction on how you would like us to move forward.
Is this?
Use your
just a
microphone.
short
Can you use your microphone, please?
Sorry. Is this second one just a short version of the first?
Yeah.
I mean,
You want to come up here too, Willie?
okay. Does it take a lot of manual anything, or do you kick it out?
So we can borrow this for a second? Okay, great. Yeah, so this is pretty much a summarized version of a very detailed version that you get the first time around. And you get kind of a summarized version by the line items that you saw in the income statement page, as we call it. The difference there is that it looks very kind of text formatted, and it doesn't present to you a visualization of where you stand against your budget. It just kind of says, here's your budget, here's the dollars that you spent, and then here's the dollars that are remaining. In this particular case, we actually borrowed this template from MetroCog, the way that they do their quarterly and annual report. And we like this format just because it kind of tells you a little bit of a story of where you stand with your revenues and where you stand with your expenditures. So if you look closely, you can kind of see the property tax lines. We reached the majority of attaining our revenues, which happens in the earlier part of the year, just because property taxes are paid early. So you're getting that tax revenue pretty much at the beginning of the year, or at least the first quarter. And then after that, it's just a matter of spending those funds. and seeing where you stand with it, and potentially where you could end up maybe overspending a little bit if it was something that was getting closer to that. So we can actually even set up conditional formats that start to become more yellow and more red if needed as we get closer to that percentage of our budget. So there's a couple of things that you can do with this type of report because it's more of a graph than anything else, or a table, rather than just data that was presented in previous times before. So we like this format just because of that reason, and it kind of gives you a cleaner look as well as far as where each of the line items, we still have the line items in there. It's just a matter of saying, okay, when it comes to salaries, where do we stand on that? Are we getting too close for comfort near the end of the year? Are we okay? And as we start utilizing something like this in future years, we have a better benchmark to kind of present where do we stand year over year, right? You have a better way to compare year over year differences. And then the last piece that you'll see here is your cash balances. I know there's been talk previously in other meetings that I've attended where we talked about reserves and where do we stand as far as the library is concerned. This kind of gives you a pretty good picture of where you stand regarding your cash flow, which is something that may not pertain so much to municipalities and libraries, but in private industry, it pertains a lot to understanding where you stand with ratios as far as do you have enough liquidity to be able to pay debt if needed to? And in our case, do we have reserves set up if we needed to, for some reason we weren't able to collect something like property tax, will we have enough to cover 6 months' worth of expenses? So it's just things like that.
Are there any additional questions, Robin?
So I guess in the new versions that would be published, I like this summary. Would this be the only thing that would be published then? And if so, I would ask that we include the line item detail, looking back to where we see all the books and all the expenses, just for a transparency perspective, and it allows us to look at, just kind of see where the money's going and ask any questions, be similar to what we have at the commission where we have the bills.
Yeah, that's still easy to do. That's just a report that we pull out of Black Mountain. So we could do that.
Yeah, you can
So-
customize this however you want right now. So if you want to include even the detailed pages that you saw before, we can include that so you can see that and how it lines up with a summarized version.
So Robin, are you requesting then just by the month? So here are the expenses in that month that
Yep.
they're reporting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we would still see both.
So instead of having, for this month, we had June and July, we would just have July and then this summary sheet.
Okay.
Question. Thank you guys for this. So like my frame of reference for the budget is the long sheet that we've had in the past. Is this just this is a different way of breaking it down? Like, for example, the payroll expenses, that would include health insurance premiums, retirement, any deferrals, anything like that?
Correct.
Okay, and then, so then the cash balances piece, can you explain that a little bit to me? Just how we have cash balances, so we have 2.35 for year-to-date actual. The 170 is an expense, or is that what we're under right now?
That is the activity for the one section that you have is the beginning of your cash balance. So it's the beginning, starting from the prior month. So the activity that you have this month is saying that you actually are spending more, which is expected since you received the majority of your revenues already up front. So this particular month, and going forward in other months, I expect to see negatives there because you start to spend your funds as you go
Gotcha.
through it. So then the next column is your ending cash balance. So as long as always that's positive, whether you're an entity or a private industry, as long as that's always in the black, you should be okay.
So, and just to follow up on that,
Sure.
so right now, then, we have 2.18 for the end, that's what we have right now for cash reserves.
Correct.
Or,
Ending balance.
not reserves, but do you consider that reserves?
That's what we have in our account.
Account, right, okay.
Correct.
Okay, And I guess the main, of course, I like the long sheet. I think it was good. I think, but didn't that also have the year-over-year changes as well in it a little bit towards the end? Or I've only looked at it a handful of times.
I think you're thinking of our budget.
The budget,
sheet,
yep.
Which is different.
Okay. This is actual.
The monthly financials don't have a year-over-year.
Have you go back up, I think. I didn't see it the first time. I see it more of a, here's your original budget, here's what you committed so far in your variance.
Yeah.
So it's really just monthly activities, so to speak. There may be yeah, there's no year-to-date either, so it's really just a monthly activity,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Sounds good, sounds good. I think it makes sense. So
I wanted to add also that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Only other question is just to compare this against the old way that you were doing it. Was it not broken down like that? How is this different? And I know you've explained it a little bit, but because I don't have a lot of frame of reference to understand it against.
Yeah, the figures would be the same. The only difference is just how it's presented. So it's really just for presentation look.
Okay,
So for example, we have a line in here that says collections. So this is pulling 3 different lines together. So our e-resources, our audiovisual materials, and our books, putting that all together because those are all just library collection materials. Putting that together in one line to present to you instead of separating them out.
okay,
So it's just kind of a condensed version.
condensed version.
And same with, like payroll expenses and employee expenses, condensing those things together.
Yeah, which as you mentioned includes benefits as well.
So instead of putting social security, separating all those things
Health program.
out,
Yep,
putting that all together.
great. That sounds good. Well, thank you. I think it looks good.
Are there other comments or questions? I heard consensus and maybe nodding of heads since it's not an action item. This is a great cover page, and then maybe the monthly, just what we've spent, is what I heard.
Okay. Sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Usually you provide detail and summarized
Yeah,
versions.
yep.
That's perfect.
And we can always bring it up again.
We can,
if you're finding
if we need something
you
else.
need something else.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay. Thank you.
wonderful.
Okay. Thanks for being here, too,
No
for your
problem.
help.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, we'll move on to our next item on our agenda, the approval of the updated carpet replacement project. And it is an action item, but Jenna, do you want to briefly walk us through it?
Yes. This might be news to our new board members and board members that have served for a while. We've talked about carpet for many years. The library, as you know, has had well over 1 million visits since we opened in that space, and the carpet is worn. And so last year, we went to City Commission and we sought capital improvement sales tax funding to replace the carpet in the building. As a part of that process, we sought bids and we looked at doing carpet in the whole space. And the idea at that point was, if we're doing it, we might as well do the whole thing. What we learned, however, is that it was going to be a bigger undertaking than we can probably do at this point. The way that our shelves are put together and the way that the top floor of the library is designed would mean that moving those shelves is not easy. We will have to disassemble them. There's no easy way to just move them. And we also would have to hire a structural engineer to come in, and we would have to install bracing underneath that balcony space. which would mean that we couldn't do story time in our children's area. It would cause a major disruption to library services. Anyway, it was going to be a big undertaking. And so we kind of hit the pause button on it for a minute. And so after consulting with Public Works and engineers and designers and a lot of very smart people, I kind of made the call and said, let's do some quotes again and look at this. If we just did the highest need areas of the library and got some quotes again, what does that look like? And so that's what I'm bringing to you right now. So this is the main floor of the library, the highest trafficked, most damaged carpet, and the stairways, all the stairways. That's where we're seeing the most damage and the most wear, the most buckling on the carpet. It avoids moving our most difficult shelving. It avoids the bracing issue. It's the smallest disruption to services and becomes a much more attainable project. It also saves the city a lot of money in that capital improvement sales tax fund in investing in a building that the city doesn't own. And so I think it's good for the taxpayers as well. So, so that's where we're at. But I know it is a step back from what we were hoping to achieve in that space. And so I'm coming to the board to ask, how do you feel about moving forward with this downsized version of the project? Are you okay with that? And if so, do I have your blessing to move forward and ask the commission to award the bid to the contractor?
Go ahead, Tyler.
Jenna, thanks for all the background information and overwhelming, I'm sure, to receive all the info about the structural changes that would have to happen just to replace some carpet. So one of the things that you mentioned is that, and it's a good reminder for me, is that, of course, we're just leasing the space.
Yeah.
Is it the county that owns the building or
The public school.
public school district? Would the school, and I'm sure you already thought of it, of course, right, matching funds or?
They're not interested.
Not interested?
No.
That is so strange. Just because it is 20-year-old carpet.
Yep. It is, according to our lease, it is our
Responsibility.
responsibility.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's the only question I had.
I will say the school did generously pay for the designers to come in and consult with us and help us select the materials. So they did, on the front end, contribute towards this project moving forward.
I'm guessing that it kind of sounds like the main wear and tear is on the main floor and stairways.
Yeah.
That is, the over, second floor stacks are not that bad. But it does certainly show that as a building being used as a library, it's probably not overly adequate for what you need to do. This is kind of an aside, but
Well, we know it's not. From our space needs assessment, it's undersized by 50%, so.
Go ahead.
Jenna, only other question just came to my mind, that ramp and those stairs coming up in that space, is that part of the project that'll be recarpeted? Or is there no ramp there?
No, because we have, it's those
an elevator.
elevators.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the stairs at the entryway?
Yeah, the stairs at the entryway to go up.
The school actually did recarpet the very first section of stairs.
Okay,
Yep, which probably technically we should have done, but they did do that
Okay.
last year.
I was just curious about the common space there, if that was considered common space, whether they'd be responsible for any piece of it.
It is technically ours, but they did a
They
chunk
did
of
it.
it last
Okay.
year.
Okay,
Other comments? I guess I'm in favor if we can get a small portion of, like, if we can get this portion done, I think it's a great improvement. And it's something that structurally won't affect our services and won't affect a lot of movement of, well, it'll still be movement of books, but something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yep. Other comments on that? So we are looking for a motion to, oh, Tony, did you have one? No?
Motion?
Oh, well, if you have a motion, we are looking for a motion to proceed with, as you looked at the second page of that sheet of, it had all of the bids in there, and the motion would be to move forward with All States Flooring as they came in the lowest.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to proceed with going with All States Flooring to,
Okay. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any other additional comments or questions?
just one for
Yep.
me. And I apologize, I didn't look as closely at the quotes as I maybe should have. Obviously, the lowest bid is usually the winner in these cases. Was there any material differences in the performance or anything between the contractors that would warrant going with one of the others? Or was it a pretty clear decision that All States was the best?
There was no real material difference. And I would say, actually, All States has been doing some other work in the building as well. And so I've been able to see the work that they're doing in the other part of the school, and it looks great, so,
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you so much, Board.
Thank you. Next, we do move on to our director's report.
Oh, we don't want to start there.
It'd be a quick report.
Yeah. All right, well, back to finances. It's like full circle. So expenditures through July month to date, we are about 54% expended for the year. So looking great there. At our, I believe that was that our last meeting? Just wanted to update you, we did have that discussion with our management team. I should have said at our last meeting, I had been having discussions with the adult services team already, and the managers, but wanted to have like a full final meeting with the library service managers as well to talk about our organizational chart. And following that meeting and the passage of the city's preliminary budget, which included our full request, we did decide to move forward and advertise the adult services manager position. So that is currently open. We do have a good number of candidates that have applied, and we are looking forward to starting those interviews soon.
I just wanted to say that's exciting news.
Yeah, it is very exciting. Also exciting, this was a really lovely comment that we got at the circulation desk recently. A patron commented that they really appreciated our Disability Pride Month display. They shared that they have a non-visible disability, and that display helped them feel really seen in our library space. They had been coming regularly to check out what was on the display. They had found things on that display of people with similar shared life experiences to what they had experienced, and it had been really impactful to them. They just wanted to make sure that the staff heard that and knew that, so really heartwarming, yeah. That just speaks to our mission and vision and our strategic plan, and so wanted to make sure you as the board heard that story too. Also, just some other feedback. We've been highlighting the satellite in our board report and in our impact report for you as well, since it's new here. And so I wanted to compile a summary of some of the things that we've been hearing in there. Patrons have been commenting that they are coming more frequently to the satellite library than they would have been to the main library because it's closer to their homes. So their frequency of library visits has increased. Patrons have appreciated the study rooms here, and we've noticed that the usage is increasing. But we've also heard that they would like an adult-sized table and chairs in the main space to use. We do have a children's table in there, but there just isn't a ton of space. We're talking about changing how we use the study rooms in there to open them up to accommodate that. Some families have noted that they appreciate the smaller space of the satellite library. They've said that it's easier to find what you need, that it's not as overwhelming, and it's easier for them to stay together as a group. So they don't have to worry about a child running off to another section, or some families where a family member has a disability, it's just not as overwhelming of a space to be in. And so this meets a need that the large library does not. So that's really nice. People overwhelmingly appreciate the ability to pick up their holds on this end of town. And we've had lots and lots of comments hoping that others are utilizing the library here too, connected to concerns that people are worried that this might go away if other people aren't utilizing it enough. So they come in and they see that it's not filled to the brim with people, and then they're worried that the satellite library might disappear if there's not enough usage. So, but I can tell you, usage is increasing, so. And here's the graph to show that. Physical circulation, up over the thousands now. The door count was 551, and we made 15 library cards last month at the satellite. Here's what happened at our main library. Physical circulation, door count, and library cards made. So as you can see, like, these are two very different sized libraries. But the trend is really going up, and that's very exciting. Highest total circulation to date, we broke 25,000 items in July. So for the past few years, usage has actually declined in July, but that was not the case this year. I think that's fantastic. Usually we kind of follow that same kind of trend, and we bucked the curve this year. May, June, and July saw more foot traffic than last year. And I just giggle because, again, a few months ago I said, I don't know about that cash-wise book drop. People must have heard, because the off-site book drop has just continued to grow. We've been surprised continuously the last couple months by the amount of materials that we are picking up in those drops.
Go ahead, Ted.
Quick question, Jenna. Do we pay anything to keep that there, or does Cashwise just let us?
Cashwise just lets us have it there.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
For youth programming, our weekly crafts and STEM events continued to fill our meeting rooms in the hallway. Story times are still the most popular programs we host. Adding an additional session of teeter tots, story time did help to manage the crowds this summer and kind of even out those numbers and make it a little bit more manageable. This was kind of fun. The Popcorn Theater came to the library and they did a little production of The Wizard of Oz, and we had 114 people show up to watch, which is a lot for our children's space. The adult programming team did a fun Bedazzle a book cover event. This is apparently a trend on social media.
It is on TikTok, yes.
Yep. And the really cool thing, though, about this particular craft event was the conversations that people had while they were working on their books. So everybody brought their own book to decorate. We just supplied the gems and the supplies, and lots of conversations recommending books to each other. And so the Adult Services team has been talking about different programs they could do in the future that would inspire this same kind of conversation. So not just what kinds of arts and crafts events can we do, but the yes and part, what can we do that's also going to inspire additional conversations about the books that people love, just like this one did. This one might show up again too in the future, so.
I just wanted to give a shout out to your adult services team because they come up with the greatest ideas for programming. And they advertise very well, and I'm just always thoroughly impressed with their programming and very bummed I can't attend half of the events, but very great programming that adult services puts on.
We did learn at the crayon art event that they had recently that we're probably not going to do that again. That was too many hair dryers, and that didn't work well for the electrical situation in the library. Puzzle Off is another one that we've repeated multiple times and is always a hit. This time we had 7 teams competing. Those are always lots of fun. We've had a few exhibits lately, and there are several more coming up here pretty soon too. So currently, the Northern Prairie Fiber Arts Guild has a display in the glass case in large print. You should stop by and check out, featuring the art of a wide variety of local artists using a bunch of different mediums and styles in that glass case. We also had a graphic medicine display from the National Library of Medicine. That's down now, but that was up through the month of July. Outreach services was very, very, very busy all summer. The Library on Wheels Park Route just ended at the end of July. They're still visiting some elementary schools in August, but looking forward to having a little bit of a break here pretty quick. Transitioning into that fall schedule. Tech services is very busy too. They are kind of the unsung heroes of the library. They are about 50% of the way through adding series information to the children's chapter book, spine labels. That is such a huge project. I can't tell you how big of a project that is. And so the fact that they've gotten this far this fast is really kind of incredible, with all the other things that are going on as well, right? On top of that, they're also working on a new project to monitor the efficiency of processing their different collections to ensure that nothing's being left behind and everything is getting to the floor as quickly as possible. They've also streamlined a new and improved rush system to make sure anything that has a hold on it gets to the floor as quickly as possible so that our residents are getting those items with a hold as soon as they possibly can. So, yay. Tech services, I know I like getting my holds as soon as possible. And finally, I don't have a slide for this, but at our last meeting, we had talked about doing some board training, and I connected with the state librarian. She would be available for ahead of our next meeting, September 11th. If we wanted to meet early at like 4 PM, we could do some board training with her, and we could also request the city attorney be there as well, if that works with people's schedules. Otherwise, we can look for a different time as well, but I thought that might be a convenient one. And then if there's a list of topics, she said we could just let her know. But I know one of the things we had talked about was like roles and responsibilities of the board, director, et cetera. If we do want to do that, that is something we would need to advertise because we would have a quorum.
If you did, for example, on your 11th before the board, how much time were you looking at?
I was thinking we'd add like an hour.
I think it's a great idea, and we've done different ways to do that in the past. I'm unavailable
Okay,
right before that meeting, but I could try to make things work or join when I can, if it works for the rest of the team.
Well, we'd still have a quorum, so we could still do it,
You could do it no matter
yeah,
what.
yeah,
Okay.
I suppose so.
You're not making decisions.
yeah. We could also look for a different date too if this one didn't work, yeah.
That would work for me, so you know. But you can look for another date if you want to.
Just as a suggestion, does the September, with the budget and everything on the horizon, is the September meeting going to be extraordinarily large, or is it going to be a smaller agenda? Like today's was small, and it's about 45 minutes after. Just thinking if we wanted to, maybe we could fit it in at the tail end on September 11th, depending on what the agenda looks like.
At the moment, the budget is the only thing. And the director's report.
Yeah, I'm open to that if that works for people.
Just push it into the normal agenda.
Well, we'd close the meeting and then we could,
Oh, it'd be an executive session.
nope.
Oh, we just wouldn't need a meeting.
Yeah, we just need to publicly note it because we're together.
Sounds good.
I heard, I guess, nods again and consensus
That's
from.
two different ways of
works.
doing it.
Yeah.
That's-
Yep.
Maybe one or maybe the other. Which doesn't help.
You could just start the board meeting at the regular time, and then when we're done,
We could move
Do
into
training.
that. Yep.
I think it'd be easier to start the board meeting at the regular time and then do this after. That's my personal
Okay.
opinion.
Well,
I can check and see if
Sure.
she's available.
so we'll shoot for September 11th, but you'll confirm with us.
I'll confirm, yeah, I'll make sure she's available, and she lives in Bismarck, so I don't know
Okay,
how late she
yes.
wants to drive back either, is part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. She could
Okay.
join remotely too, though, maybe.
Well, thanks for doing that. I think that's, yeah, obviously I was the one that asked for it, so
Yeah.
thank you very much for doing that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the director's report? Okay, thanks, Jenna. Everything looks great, and I'm glad to see we have good usage at our satellite, but also just overall in general. That brings us to the end of our agenda, so we'll be looking for a motion to close her up.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thanks for a great night. We'll see you guys next month.